Have you heard? It's hot outside. I don't like it.
And now it's here again. Astrology poison and these strangers aren't your friends. And you return again. Water rights poison and this desert isn't your friend.
American DJ and music producer Avalon Emerson has released their debut solo album, And the Charm. Avalon has been remixing music and releasing several instrumental DJ EPs for several years now, but her first full-length project sees her making more of an 80s influenced indie pop record. Although you can definitely still hear Avalon's DJ influence throughout this album. And the Charm is very dreamy in its production, but honestly, only a few tracks here seem to leave a lasting impression with me. The album begins with the track Sandrail Silhouette, which has this laid-back dance beat and jangly guitars. There are also these strings that bring a lot of life to the track and are super catchy. Avalon, on this song as well as a lot of what is to follow, has a very wispy delivery. The lyrics see Avalon traveling while riding a motorcycle through the desert. However, while she is out having fun, her friends are growing older, settling down, having kids. The impression of this song paints this more as a positive thing, though, since she is living, enjoying herself, and appreciating the now. It is an interesting turn on what is otherwise a kind of tired cliche, and is a nice introduction to this album. Entombed in Ice, again, has that dreamy 80s pop sound, complete with saxophone. However, the lyrics on this track are slightly less impactful and are very repetitive. Even Avalon's whispery delivery here doesn't really match the energy of the music. The song has these contradicting lines that are all kind of tired expressions, like one door closes, another opens. I get the feeling that Avalon feels trapped, likely because of COVID, but also because of her own life. She even drops some self-deprecating lines like "hang the DJs." But the song sounds so happy that it doesn't really feel impactful. Like it leaves you going, okay. A Vision starts off with more of a prominent dance beat, but as the chorus hits, it shifts back into the indie pop sound. So I thought I was getting something new and unique, but it just reverts to the standard sound of the album. This song, similar to the other tracks, paints this picture of stagnation and settling and boredom. But again, with this bubbly dance beat and Avalon's somewhat cold delivery, which doesn't really feel connected at all. The song does hit a climax though, with Avalon sounding a bit brighter, singing that a little bit of beauty will help it go down, which is a nice touch to an otherwise drab and boring song in my opinion. However, we then get my favorite song off this album, called Astrology Poisoning. This song is dripping with 80s nostalgia. I also feel the delivery and tone of the lyrics matches the music here compared to the previous two tracks. There is a hint of sadness in an otherwise upbeat tune, as Avalon sings about towns turning into ash, waters being poisoned, and the world being a fuck. Her soft delivery here comes across as if she's almost defeated, and yeah, who isn't at this point? The song Stone is a more subdued track, and there are moments here when Avalon again sings more prominently than her typical whisper, but the lyrics on this one are very opaque to me. She sings, "Waning taste of the night, life years of deja vu." It feels like Avalon is doing some sort of like word association, which I guess could come across kind of cool, but on this project I'm left more puzzled than I am moved by it. We then get the instrumental track, Dreamliner. I know that Avalon, prior to this release, was mostly known as a DJ, but I don't find this track all that interesting. There are some glitchy little synth noises and a pretty standard beat that remain constant throughout this entire 5-minute long track. At one point, there is this nice piano breakdown, which is pleasant, but most jarring is this voice saying Dreamliner throughout, which feels mixed poorly into the song. We then get the song Hot Evening, which has a more old school dance sound to it. Avalon's singing on this track is much more interesting, and lyrically, it makes fun of California, which is humorous and enjoyable. All around, this combination makes for one of the more interesting cuts on this album. Karaoke Song continues with another great tune, with this interesting synth that plays in stereo. The bulk of the song sees Avalon asking a series of questions as if they're trying to catch up with someone that they haven't seen for a long time. Compared to most of this album, it is light, cute, and a lot of fun. The closing track, A Dam Will Always Divide, brings back lyrics involving climate catastrophe, with Avalon discussing wrecking pipelines and how dams make it harder for fish to swim upstream. But sadly, it doesn't really go beyond this to make any sort of grand or even modest statement. These brief moments of dialogue occur on this sprawling 9-minute long track that frankly isn't all that interesting. It is sadly a boring end to this album. I felt really mixed about this album because half of it is composed with some solid indie pop tunes that are dancey but also have this emotional weight. But the other songs are either musically stale or lyrically confounding. I think Avalon does have the ability to make some great tunes in this new direction. I just hope any future albums are much more consistent. However, while we wait for future projects, I have to give this album a 5.5 out of 10. What did you think of this album? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you not like the things that I said about it? You can let me know down in the comments. You can also like the video and subscribe to the channel. And stay hydrated. That advice is free.